All right, today's tutorial is going to be a quick revision lesson. Now, this will be separated into two parts. First part, I'm going to do a revision of what we have done yesterday or 2 days ago. And then we'll be learning about three ways of typing out the same thing. Yeah, so let's get started. So to begin, I would just like to walk you guys through what we have done yesterday. So I have done this twice before and I have reset everything back to default, right? So when you create a new class, in this case it's called Hannah. This will be the default setting. So this will be the thing that comes up. Now, here we want to print out a name. So we want to input a number into the name and then print out this name. So we do this by working in your header file and in your .cpp file. Okay. So to begin, I would just like to make this take integers, and then I want function that prints out the number that we will input. So I'll just call this print stuff. There we go. And then in private, all we need is to put an integer, input an integer called h, and we'll make this equal to the number that we input. So we do this in like 2 steps. Okay, so that's everything we need in the header file to print out a number. And the next thing we go to is .cpp. This is where we make things happen. So we create functions here. We tell them what they do and tell them what they don't do. Yeah. So Hannah function, since we already have a Hannah function that takes in integer, we want this to take in an integer and store this integer as this name. So right. So remember how we can make this equal to an integer by placing them not in the curly brackets but between the round brackets and the curly brackets. And you do this by inputting a colon first, and then just by simply typing this h equals. So that basically means this number stores this number that we have input. I mean, this integer now stores this number that we now input. Okay, so now we have the number. How is the user gonna see it? Well, that's why we have the void function. But remember, when you're calling a when you are telling what function what to do, calling a function in your .cpp file, remember to type the class that it's coming from. So in this case, it's Hannah. So we just type Hannah, and then after the double colon, we type the name of the function, which is just print stuff, and then uh, we enter what the function does. So we wanted to print out h. Oh, before I run this program, remember we have just created everything we need. So all the functions are there, but none of the functions are being used. Um, so just watch out for that. There's a difference between creating them, telling them what to do, and making them public or private, and then you have to actually call them. And doing this, you have to create an object first. So the class it's coming from first, and then you create an object. Just by doing this, you have done creating an object. And then you enter the name of the object first, and after it, you call the function that you want. So print stuff. And now let's run this program to see if there is any. Oh, and I forgot, of course, void. Remember to type the function type before anything else. Uh-oh. Header, what's wrong with it? Okay, come on. Let me run this again. So there is something wrong with this. Okay, I'm just gonna pause the video and check what's wrong. Alright, now that was pretty dumb. So remember how we made this integer? We made Hannah taking an integer. And how do we pass that in? Well, we pass this number in just by typing it after the object. So you type it in bracket and you type 28, for example. Now when you run this, everything should work out just fine. 28. Okay. Okay, if I have to be more sophisticated and say there are two more ways to print the same stuff out on the screen. And since I don't know much about this topic yet, I'm just going to copy this tutorial and explain to you guys what I think these two mean and what they do. So let me just enter this real quick. This arrow H and the line C out bracket this dot H ENDL. All right, now we have changed. What we have done is just changing what print stuff does. So now, without changing anything else, there should be 3 of the same number, 28, on the screen. Okay, now let's full screen this. So if that H, C out H is just printing H out, what is this? So as you can see, there is an error in this program, in this line. And this error is a pointer. So what we have done here is making this stuff pointing to the memory address of H. So in another word, it's not quite clear, but this function does explicitly print this out. So this is implicated and this is explicit. And so is this. Now, I am not clear about how this works. Like, yeah, I'm confused as much as you guys, and neither did the tutorial go through this very clear. But that's implicated, that is explicit, and I think that this is even more explicit in the way it states and calls stuff. Okay, so right now let me just go back to this tutorial so I can check what the tutorial name is called. Is it operation? Is it this? Oh, it's this pointer. This pointer. Okay, this pointer. Okay, so main focus of the lesson. This pointer. It is interesting. It's an interesting pointer, and use it to point to memory address or do this weird stuff. And I'm gonna stop the video right now. Hope you guys liked it.